Okay guys, this is the Seahawk 2 setup I use for my YouTube channel. I've just built a weed whacker motor, so it's 33 cc. I'm currently testing it just now, so hopefully everything goes well. Weed whacker. The boat has my 2 life jackets, my oars, my helmet with my 360-degree cam on the head, and my GoPro camera mount on the head, facing down the helmet, facing forward. I've got the pop-up sail here. In 25 miles an hour worth of wind at your back, it will pull the Seahawk 2 fully loaded with all the gear I use at 3 miles an hour, which is not recommended. But in 10 miles an hour worth of wind, the Seahawk 2 will be pulled about 1 mile an hour. But that's just the way it goes. On the front of my boat, I have a 2-ton tow rope for towing a car. I just have it hooked into the main part of the bow for the Seahawk 2, so it does okay for an anchor point for tying up to docks or tying up to other vessels or other boats. I also have a rescue line, which is about 10 feet of rope, which I also have tied to the bow, so I can throw that into the water and anybody can swim to it, grab it and pull themselves into the boat. For all my gear, I put it in that bag. It carries everything you see here. Fishing rods have to be carried separate, but everything else can be folded down apart from the pole. The batteries. The battery is in the boat that runs my trolling motor is a 100 ampere lead acid group 31 battery. I've got another battery on the chair there, which is a group 27. It is a 44 ampere battery, lead acid. The 100 ampere battery is also lead acid. I have my pole with my flag and my navigation light. On my fishing rod holder for the Seahawk 2, I've got a 3-way fishing rod holder that holds 2 rods and a camera set up for the GoPro on a extendable mount and selfie stick. I used the old oar section into the fishing rod holder to hold all that into position and clamp together. I also have a 250 lumen bicycle light on the top of the rod holder, so that it can illuminate the boat, and it can also be pointed forward for navigation. It's not terribly bright, but it's a light setting for flashing and a light setting for constant. And that is my light for the front of the boat by the front rod holder on the Seahawk 2, the way I've got it configured. That is my helmet set up with the GoPro attachment and the 360 camera attachment on a motorcycle helmet, which I use for being out in the boat and also for the motor assist push scooter, which is 33cc, and the motor mountain bike, which is 40 and 80cc. I've got two of them, and they're also two-stroke. One of my life jackets with the rescue whistle for at sea. If you fall overboard, you can blow the whistle for signs of distress. I have two life jackets. The whistle's lanyarded to both life jackets, so the whistle can't be separated from the life jacket if you were to fall in the water. Then I've got my waders for inshore fishing, and if I park the boat up to a boat ramp, I can then go onto the shore and then wade out into the water and do some chest wading fishing with my chest waders. The air pump I use for the Seahawk 2 is a 5 litre air pump, which is better than the 2 litre air pump that the Seahawk 2 comes with. That's it there. You can get that at any camping shop that has airbeds. The attachment does the same for the Seahawk 2 valves, both in the outer chambers and the floor chamber. It pumps the Seahawk up from deflated to fully inflated in about 10 minutes, whereas the normal pump that comes with the Seahawk takes about 20 minutes to half an hour to pump up. I've got the oars for rowing. Then I have a lanyard connected to the bag fixing on the Seahawk 2. The bag fixing is here. All it has in it is my mobile phone in a plastic waterproof case, and I've got a 12 volt battery that powers my other navigation light, which is on my pole. The light itself is 1000 lumens. It's for bicycles. And then on the top I have my 360 nav light, which is basically a £1 solar panel light for the garden diffuser, which then spreads 360 degree light off this 300 lumens flashlight, and it works really well with rechargeable batteries. It's fixed with a bicycle GoPro mount, so I can then tie the torch properly to the top of the pole where my windsock and flag is attached. So it will sit there no problem at all, and it will diffuse the light 360 degrees, and it's fairly bright. It's 300 lumens, but it puts out enough light to be seen from 2 nautical miles by the UK Coast Guard. The minimum you must have 360 degree light by UK Coast Guard is 300 lumens to 1000 lumens or greater. Okay, in my boat I have my battery set up so that it sits on a wooden half-inch board, which is the width of the boat and about 2 foot from the stern, just sitting there on the board. And then my battery sits on top of that, which helps to alleviate pressure from the floor, because I've not installed a wooden floor as yet, but it will be another modification I will be doing in the future. I also carry my FM, AM, UHF radio. It has 8 channels for using with my paragliding, and I also use it when I'm out fishing and out on the boat. If I get into distress, I can give somebody a radio phone if I can't get to my mobile phone. It's waterproof and has 8 channels, and it runs off rechargeable batteries. So that's it. It's a Cobra PMR radio. Right, on my battery I have my solar panel connected up. The solar panel is 12 volts at 1.5 watts, which produces 86 milliamps an hour. So it can help keep my battery topped up well on a day's fishing. It's not great, but it does the job after about 5 or 6 hours on charge. I also have my electric pump, which pumps up the Seahawk 2 within a couple of minutes, and also my fishing gear. So it's electric. I'm going to get a battery one so I don't need to use the manual foot pump. My fishing gear in my bag is just the basics. Basic floats, lures, spinners, hooks. Just basic. That's my basic setup. My spare reel for my other rod. A pair of long nose pliers for taking the hooks out of the fish's mouth. And I also have my compass for boat navigation and paragliding navigation, which all fits into my small bag that sits in my boat. This is my green light for night fishing. I've got 2 rechargeable batteries on an LED strip with a modulator on it, so it can change colour with the remote control. So you can change different modes and different settings. It's also mobile phone batteries. So that's it lit up, and it has a tie point to my grab line inside my boat, which is connected to a carabiner, which is then connected to some paracord, and then it's in a waterproof box. I tie it up and I put the lid back on it, I'll put the paracord back around it. It's quite bright at night, and basically it will sit in the water on the surface and it will go several feet from the boat, and then what it will do is, because it's a green light, it will start attracting plankton and small parasites that the bait fish feed on, and then the bait fish will bring in the bigger fish, and then the bigger fish will bring in the bigger fish. So that's my green light setup. It's DIY with some green LEDs, 50/50, and they run off 12 volts. And this setup runs, I would say, about 4 hours from a full charge on one battery. I've got 2 batteries, so that gives me 8 hours with a remote control to change the different colour settings. Inside in my boat I have this line that runs all the way to the bow, so if it capsizes you can flip the boat back over, drain the water out it, and then pull yourself in from the front. It's connected to the intex motor mount, and this tube that's connected to the intex motor mount is also for my weed whacker, 33cc outboard DIY special. So this is my boat setup anyway. I'm going to try not to fall over. This is my 40 pound thrust trolling motor with the spare battery. So 3 lights for green and 1 for red. It's an Opera Leisure 40 pound thrust trolling motor. Five forward, 3 reverse, and it has the extendable tiller arm and a 12 volt trolling motor. And my new toy, my weed whacker. My weed whacker has a tiller arm built into it. It has a 2 horsepower outboard motor, 3-blade propeller on the end of it, and it's 33cc 2-stroke. Your basic weed whacker. Get some better light on it. It has the basic weed whacker. This cable here connected to the connector block. There's a brake cable which acts as a throttle when you pull it, which gives me neutral, and then when you pull the throttle, that's it running. Full throttle. Then here I've just extended the wires onto a bicycle contraption with a kill switch, and I've just extended the wires, and that's my basic weed whacker outboard, 2-stroke 33cc, and it takes a gallon of petrol, 2-stroke mix, which lasts all day on a cruise fishing on the Clyde or the Kelvin or the canal. This is my Seahawk 2 setup. Like, comment, subscribe, and grow the channel. Cheers folks. Ta-ta for now until the next time. Bye.